Resource Watch is brought to you in association with Tebe Investment Corporation.
Africa's oil and gas industry is booming. 6 of the top 10 global discoveries in 2013 were in fact in Africa. And research shows that more than 500 companies are currently exploring across the continent. We're coming to you from Cape Town at the Oil and Gas Summit. I'm Nozi Pumbandra, and this is Resource Watch. Let's kick off with the market wrap for this week.
South Africa's mining production fell more than expected in July, hitting levels last seen in late 2012. The decline was largely due to a fall in output in the platinum group metals, which plummeted by more than 45%. The data increases concerns about the health of the economy, which is still struggling to recover from the effect of a 5-month strike in the platinum industry this year. AngloGold Ashanti is to demerge its international assets and establish a debt-free local firm with a mandate to diversify into other commodities. The international producers will fall under a new UK holding company, Newco, which will list on the LSE, JSE and NYSE. AngloGold Ashanti is hoping to raise $2.1 billion in a rights issue. And 11 mining CEOs and related companies have called on the international community to step up the fight against Ebola in Western Africa. The outbreak has prompted several mining companies to suspend production and evacuate their expat staff, as the epidemic has killed at least 2,100 people in 5 African countries.
We're digging deep with the Vice President for the Europe, Middle East and Africa region from CDM Media, that is Ollie Stebbings. Ollie, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us. You are operational in other regions in the world. Why Africa? Why oil and gas?
Well, we've chosen Africa for the last 3 years. This is in fact our 4th oil and gas summit that we've hosted here in Africa. We've chosen Cape Town because we feel it's the best opportunity for us to bring together some of the best executives within the oil and gas industry. And previously we've hosted it in Mozambique, and we have a very strong presence here within the oil and gas industry, the likes of BP and Chevron, and we have some fantastic delegates that have joined us that are really lending themselves very strongly within the industry itself.
No doubt, understanding that you work in various sectors, that the African growth story is top of mind for you in terms of which sectors you go into and which countries and thematic areas that you will follow. Outside of oil and gas, where do we see your presence?
So CDM Media is a global business-to-business marketing and events company. So we fulfill the same format around the world, and we cover roughly 60 to 90 events in the calendar year. And we cover mining Africa, we do oil and gas, we do and have a very strong presence in CIO and IT technology around the world. And we've just been listed as one of the fastest growing private media companies for Inc. out of America. So we're very proud of what we've achieved in the last 7 years, and we're certainly looking to grow ourselves in the EMEA operation as well.
Back to oil and gas, let's look at the growth that you've realized in the last 3 to 4 years of operation. What's been the appetite for oil and gas on the continent?
I think it's just every event that we put on, it's all very much based around the content and the themes and the topics, and that's what really brings together some of the biggest vendors, if you like, across Africa. And we have a very good coverage of delegates from Angola, from Mozambique, right across down to South Africa. And a lot of these guys are spending a lot of time to come down to this event purely because we're addressing the key themes. And a lot of it down with regards to exploration, the monetizing of gas automation, the exploration side, and a lot of the national oil companies are here present to really educate one another and share their own ideas and ways to really improve and contribute towards the oil and gas industry moving forward down in Africa itself.
And just finally, before I let you go, there's a lot of talk about whether this boom in the oil and gas industry on the continent is sustainable. And of course, we have recent examples of how the boom bust in Africa, and we saw the continent to have a downward spiral in terms of growth. From your experience on the ground, is this different this time around? Is this sustainable? Is Africa in the driving seat of this boom?
Well, funny enough, we just actually had a panel this afternoon addressing that very point, and we had a fantastic discussion for over an hour with some of the key individuals from the oil and gas industry. And I think that the sustainability of that particular point is very much leveraged to the reasons why they're here. And I don't think that we would be here today if we didn't believe in the oil and gas industry moving forward. So a lot of the individuals, such as Alberto de Carvalho, he's over at BP for Angola, and he moderated the panel itself. And I think a lot of the discussion comes from how do we improve, or how do we contribute towards the oil and gas industry. And I think that certainly from the feedback we've had today, the future's looking bright.
The future's looking bright. Ollie, thank you so much for joining us. That was Ollie Stebbings. He is the Vice President for the Europe, Middle East and Africa for CDM Media. We're speaking to Osinyo Mabote. He is the chairman of the National Petroleum Institute in Mozambique. Osinyo, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Now, I understand that you were one of the key presenters earlier on in the day. What were the key messages that you were sharing with the audience?
The reason why we actually came here was to share with the audience what Mozambique is doing in order to create an enabling environment for people to invest. And particularly, we would like companies to invest, but taking into account that whatever they do in Mozambique has to benefit not only the companies but also the Mozambican people. So local content is a very important issue in Mozambique. As you may know, over the last few years we have had significant investment in the upstream sector, which led to the discoveries of more than 150, 170 CF of gas. The fact that we have made those discoveries is raising a lot of expectation within the communities, within the population, and within the business community in general. One of the main issues from our side is that we would like to see this has been an opportunity for the country to develop economically.
Osinyo, let me interject. I think you've raised a very important point. Oftentimes, Mozambique is criticized for not being able to use the revenues from the extractive industry, oil and gas being one of those, for further developmental objectives. Is this changing? And in particular, you talk about an enabling environment. What are you doing to ensure that, to incentivize the private sector so that they can come in and invest?
First of all, the government is putting the right policies in place. We have been, upgrading our legal and regulatory framework, not only in petroleum business, but also in the mining sector as well. In general, in the mining and petroleum sector in general. And the reason why we are doing that is because we recognize that we need to create an enabling environment for companies to invest. And as a matter of fact, over the last 3-4 weeks, we had 2 laws passed by the Parliament, the mining law and the new petroleum law. Actually, it's not a new has content. It's new in the sense that we have made some changes in order to satisfy the requirements of the investors, both in the mining law and the petroleum law. And we are going further to develop the or even better, to improve the existing regulatory framework for both the petroleum law and the mining law.
I want to go back to the first part of my question. I understand that you are creating an enabling environment. Post-investment, how are you using the revenues from the petroleum industry to meet broader socio-economic development challenges and infrastructure deficits that the country has? How are you using these investment funds?
I think the perception that the government is not using the revenue from the mineral sector in general is a wrong perception. First of all, I can tell you that, for instance, the mining sector, the coal mining, which is the major potential revenue maker, has just started. And as you know, so far the companies have started to develop the mining sector, and we still are facing some logistical problems. So no major exports of coal have been made yet. You know, there is a good potential for the coal sector, for instance, to give us a lot of revenues. On the side of the petroleum sector, we are exporting gas to South Africa, but as you know, we start producing in 2004. And no major revenues have been made yet. We are still paying what we had to ask for the financial institution to put in this gas venture. When it comes to the Rovuma gas, we are talking about more than 150 trillion cubic feet, but you know that's very high cost gas. We are still in the phase of putting together projects. In this case, liquefied natural gas project, which hopefully will give us revenues in about 5 to 10 years. Revenues that really government can really use and make development. Having said that, for us it's very important that in making these LNG projects happen, that will become a catalyst for other industrial projects. We believe that we can take this opportunity and create infrastructure, you know, create employment, build up capacity within the sector, and really provide a good opportunity for our small and medium enterprises to start to supply service to the petroleum industry.
Unfortunately, I have to cut you off because we've just run out of time, but I appreciate you joining us, and we'll look forward to the work that you'll be doing as you begin to trickle down the benefits of the petroleum industry to the small and medium-sized enterprises, as you've noted. That was the chairman of the National Petroleum Institute in Mozambique, Osinio Mabuto. That's it for this week's show. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. Talk to us on Twitter, following me at Nozipumbandra, and remember that the hashtag is ResourceWatch. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.